Day, monkeys. I'm Eddie Braverman, that's Midas Mulligan Magoo, and this is episode 11 of Not Safe for Work on WallStreetOasis.com. This week we're covering the goings-on at Groupon, the management shake-up at Google, and the likelihood of U.S. states declaring bankruptcy at some point. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with Groupon. Groupon's been a media darling for a while now, and for good reason. The company's only been around 2 years, and already they've spurned a multi-billion-dollar buyout offer from Google and been courted by Lloyd Blankfein personally to throw Goldman the business on their eventual IPO. What I love about this company is how ancient their business model is. They might deploy it in a semi-high-tech way, but it's coupon marketing. It doesn't get much simpler, and it's highly profitable. That said, I think Andrew Mason is a little off his rocker. Anytime someone offers you $6 billion for something you created 2 years ago, you take that money and run. Maybe he'll make more in the IPO, or maybe by then folks will realize that Groupon's not the only game in town and the luster will fade. He definitely should have taken Google's money. Midas?
Yeah, I love you brought this up, Eddie. I mean, Groupon is really proof that business does not have to be rocket science. Their model is super simple. Like you said, they're really a coupon book, plain and simple. And I know there must be a few monkeys out there that remember those things arriving in the mail, phone book style to you. Now, to address some of the comments in the original thread, I think that if you don't have the game to convert someone making a purchase in your store already into full-time customers, you shouldn't blame Groupon for it. It's called customer service. You jag-offs. You should try it sometime. As for the buyout, I agree with you completely. But at the same time, anybody who says no to Google is kind of okay in my book, philosophically. And I'm sure the ego played a part in the decision. The guy makes, has the opportunity to make $6 billion after 2 years worth of work. I'm sure, his mind's ringing the numbers in a future value evaluation.
Give me a break, dude. The guy's he's graduated a music major, for crying out loud.
And this should really be what we're talking about here for all you quant geeks out there, So, but hey, it's a good business for him. I understand why he doesn't want to sell in the online world. Once you have the attention of the masses, there's a lot you can do. So I'm sure he wants to do more. Can't hate him for that.
How much more than $6 billion? Jesus.
I don't know. How much more than 6 rums at 6 o'clock in the morning, huh? You tell me.
Excellent point. All right, while we're on the subject of Google, they went through a pretty curious management shakeup this week. Eric Schmidt is leaving the CEO post in early April to be replaced by Google founder Larry Page. It's an interesting situation. Very rarely do we see a mature company like Google return to a founder's leadership after a successful decade under a, quote-unquote professional CEO. By all accounts, Schmidt was a great CEO. In fact, he was probably the best CEO of any public company in my lifetime. And I hesitate to say something like that, but it's pretty true. If not, he's at least in the top 5.
Definitely a good call.
So he'll be a tough act to follow, but I think Page and Brin are up to the task. They've had a decade under his leadership to figure out how to run the company, and they've got the vision to keep innovating. I'd normally be really skeptical of a founder resuming the CEO position, but I think it'll work in this case. Besides, Page just plunked down $45 million for a 180-foot super yacht, so he's obviously grown comfortable with some of the money and stepped away from at least some of the hippie sensibilities that tend to make investors nervous. What do you think, Midas?
Well, I think that Sean Penn has his own jet, and that pinko sumbitch uses it to go and fly and glaze Chavez's cheeks in Venezuela every other week, so the yacht changes nothing for me. Once a Birkenstock, always a risky stock. Look, honestly, man, I have very mixed feelings about this. Just a reminder, Jerry Yang and Michael Dell both came back to run their companies, and Yang failed miserably, and Dell's not doing so great himself.
No, I know. The list of founders that came back and actually made it is one guy.
And he's about to die.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to say that, but yeah, it's not something that works in most cases, but I think it will in this case.
It's a fair point, man, but at the same time, when the outgoing CEO sells $335 million worth of stock, it's not exactly a vote of confidence for the guy coming in. That's a third of $1 billion.
It's 5% of his stake, dude. Homie got to get paid. I mean, no big deal. Like, it's 5% of his stake. But I see where you're coming from.
All I'm saying is I'd rather have a bona fide F50 C-suite guy running the show if I was Google. But then again, you know, it's their playhouse. Let them break it if they want to. I would rather see Sergey out there, you know, telling Google go to top right away. You buy mini stock, okay?
All right. Well, we've got some states in the news this week, and we've got some states in bad shape. New York, New Jersey, and California, they're all on the bubble. Illinois is an absolute disaster. California just declared a fiscal emergency for the third time in the past 12 months. I don't know how much longer this.
Do we see a pattern emerging? Is there a pattern?
Yeah. It's brutal. You know, we found out this week that some states, or that the states, period, have quietly begun exploring bankruptcy. Now, as it stands right now, it's illegal for a state to file for bankruptcy protection. Evidently, there's some back-channel stuff going on to see about getting those laws amended. For what it's worth, Newt Gingrich seems to think that a bill to enable states to file bankruptcy will come before Congress in the next month. But either way, something has to be done. The pension obligations alone are enough to break many states. I happen to think that state bankruptcies are an inevitability. You know what? Check that. They probably won't call it bankruptcy, but at a minimum, it will be profound default. Where that leaves the U.S. going forward is anybody's guess, but I can tell you that the states that run a tight ship are not going to want to pick up the tab for the states that gave away the farm and never thought the music would stop. What do you think?
Yeah, Newt Gingrich. How about that Republican fiscal responsibility, huh? Well, listen, this is a great time for a product placement. Actually, it just threw me an alley-oop. I feel like young Blake Griffin over there, hanging on the rim, you know. Houston, Texas, Energy Rodeo. 125 of your fellow monkeys confirmed. Ain't no recession in Texas, baby. All these liberal and supposedly conservative idiots talking shit about Texas, baby. I don't hear you smug Ivy League pricks talking about equities in Dallas anymore, huh? Yeah. Bottom line, Eddie, it's the United States of America. There has to be some sort of unified basic policy. We don't have to have uniform government through state to state, but there's got to be some general level that we agree upon. There's an implied agreement in the Constitution that you clean your own backyard. Illinois, New York, California, Michigan, Jersey, just to name a few, they're throwing this shit over the fence onto their neighbor's property. That is how shootouts happen. That is when bad things happen. We've had enough bad things happen lately, haven't we? I mean, the story's simple. 70 years after the fact, we still have a government that functions on the skeletal ideology of the New Deal. When states go boom, it's called a depression, boys and girls, and that is where we are. Time to admit it. You know, Eddie was telling you the same thing 2-3 years ago. You guys were laughing at him. It's where we're at. Time to shrink the government, blow up Parliament, and get back to living the American dream, one beat of hard work and sweat at a time. Enough of this bullshit. That feels good. Okay, book. Crash of the Titans. Greg Farrell. Better known as...
I don't know that one.
Yeah, you'll like this one. You'll really like this one. Better known as How Merrill Went Down the Shitter. Gives you a great behind-the-scenes look of the stories that were kept away from the press and that went on, obviously. So the downfall of Merrill and how B of A almost went down with him. Stan O'Neill, Ken Lewis, all your favorite small limping pricks are in there. You know, it's a good laugher, good reminder of where we were and where we still are behind closed doors on Wall Street. So as time goes by, things change even less, and I really don't think we're going to see a good resolution to the state bankruptcies, like you said. That's all for me this week. Eddie, take them home and take yourself another shot.
All right, will do. In preparation for the Energy Rodeo next weekend, my book recommendation this week is Rigged by Ben Mesrich.
Ooh, good stuff.
If you've read any of Mesrich's other books, you know he's a great storyteller, and Rigged is no different. It tells the tale of a Harvard kid from Brooklyn in the oil pits of the New York Mercantile Exchange, back when everything was still open outcry. The book is great for two reasons. First, it tells a tale of the modernization of the exchange in spite of the deeply entrenched old boys network. And second, it gives you a glimpse into the future of energy trading and some insight into the guys that are driving that future. The book it literally is a great read for anyone, really, but especially for those interested in the world of energy trading. That's all I've got for this week. Hopefully your bonus checks are everything you hope it'll be. Keep your heads down and your eyes open, and until next week, be safe and take care, monkeys. See you later.